What this quiz component might want to do is fetch the questions for this quiz. So let's do that. What we're going to do here is that now that we are in the quiz component, we're going to go fetch the questions for the quiz. We'll need an array to hold all those questions. So questions is going to be an empty array. And we're going to go fetch the questions, right? So I think we have an API to do that. Right? So we say quizzes 1, 2, 3, right? And then we ask for the questions. It comes back with one single question, right? And we saw that in the array. If we have a quiz 2, 3, 4, we have 3 questions, right? If we have quiz 3, 4, 5, we have just 2 questions. All right, so let's try and do that from the component. So from the component, right, we're going to need the when we navigate to the component, we have the ID of the quiz, right, as part of the route. Right. So what we could do here is we can parse the ID. Right, so we can parse the quiz ID. So we'll initialize as an empty string, and we can use the activated route, right, to parse that quiz ID. So let's declare here a route for the activate to grab a hold of the activated route, and then we can use the route params. Right, we're going to subscribe to it so that if there is any change in the parameters, we want to know. Right. So what are we going to do with parameters? We're going to parse the quiz ID from the parameters. I think it's called quiz ID. Right. It's in the route. Let's go back to the route. Yeah, it's called quiz ID. There we go. Okay. So once we have the once we have the quiz. Doesn't like the syntax. Dot maybe? Okay. Once we have the quiz, we can now go fetch the questions for that quiz, right? And we can just use fetch. And the URL to do that, it's this one. So let me copy that. I'll copy it. I'll paste it in here. All right. So, but instead of being the hard-coded quiz 345, we're going to use this dot quiz ID. There we go. Right. This is going to return a response at some point. We're going to parse it, and then we will have the questions here. Questions for that quiz, which we're going to copy into our questions. Once we have that, we can iterate over this for that quiz. So, for instance, in the quiz component, we can say ul li and then iterate over this, right? So we can say ng4 let question of questions, right? And then display here question that title. Okay. Not working. Let's see. Inspect. Console. Okay, so here's complaining that we're trying to hit this URL that is outside our domain, right? Because we haven't configured course, right? So let's go head over and configure course.